All right, everyone. Welcome all of you to Aloron, and your today we have come to a session on Joe Hisaishi, and one of my most favorite composers. And I cannot tell you, while listening to his pieces, I was literally crying. At some moments I was crying. Generally, I don't cry much, but there are few movies which resonates. There are few movies which actually resonate with me a lot. There is one movie called Spirited Away, is very close to me. Laputa, Castle in the Sky, very close to me. Nausicaa, then your Princess Mononoke, and Studio Ghibli and your Hayao Miyazaki is very close to me. And today I will talk about these things in a different way because today something very special happened, and I had a massive victory over an evil force, if I say so. And what was the force? A force in the world. They tried to stop music, they try to stop cinema, they try to stop great art. And why I keep mentioning these things again and again, I will explain that in different ways in the coming days. So, in the next 1 week or so, I will create a lot of artworks. I will share a lot of videos. I will do a lot of creative writing, journalistic writing, a lot of different kinds of writing, and through which you will get a wholesome experience by which you will get to know these things in a better way. But what stuck me today, and I was really, India is a place. India is a place where once upon a time, I won't use that term, but I am intentionally using this term. Once upon a time, India used to be a leader in terms of knowledge, wisdom, in terms of music, in terms of cinema, in terms of art. And the best part is, it still is. It still is. What we are lacking nowadays is এই যে জেনারেল যে মাস আছে না, bottom of the pyramid বা towards the top of the pyramid, it this part or these regions have been captured by few really bad people. Now, if I mention Shakespeare, what's good or bad, but thinking makes you so. But literally, I can tell you these are bad people, evil people, because they are against humanity. They are against mankind. They don't believe in themselves. They betray themselves. They betray their own people, their mothers, their sisters, their relatives, their brothers, their friends. They don't understand the essence of family. They don't understand the essence of relationship. They don't understand humanity. They don't understand themselves. They are motivated by a peculiar mindset, which is telling them to create a lot of chaos, agitation, a disturbance in themselves, in others, in people around them, uh, and in the society, which is a reflection of their own life or the lives of the people around them. In a word, we call them toxic people. Now, when you listen to a guy like Joe Hisaishi, that's not his real name, by the way, but I will tell you what is his real name and everything. But today I will give you a brief introduction, and tomorrow I will play some songs. And tomorrow, really, I will play the piano, and I will play some songs. And today I was playing in the morning, but something happened. That's why it's a bit difficult for me to play now. But tomorrow morning I will do a session. I can promise you that, since I already told you that I am going to do a session today, I have to give you a basic introduction because it's so important today. But along with that, I am also keeping this part because some people are watching this from outside India. They respect India because of India's true nature, what it is about. But these people who I am talking about, this group of people, they are negative people in a very shallow way, if I put it. They're negative people, but they're toxic people also. So it's like, if I can give you a small example, suppose you are meditating or you are you are just enjoying the silence or maybe your own company. And I also thought at one point of time that I can retire from I can just retire from everything in my life, and I can have a piano and I can spend the rest of my life with just playing the piano and meditating in silence and writing poetry, writing novels, writing many other stuff, writing a lot of things, in fact. And love is obviously a big thing in my life, and love. But these people don't even understand the meaning of love, because the moment they are mentioning the word love, they're actually mentioning indirectly jealousy, hatred, mean mindedness, narrow mindedness, limitations, and all that stuff. So, why I am mentioning this again and again is generally they come across as people who are, putting a lot of focus on the makeup, putting a lot of focus on the dresses. I used to put a lot of focus in my dresses also, but it is because of my aesthetics. I was a fashionista, and I have always been a fashionista, if I say so. And uh, and it has been years. I mean, from a very early age, I have been into fashion. I used to design my own clothes, and I used to buy very sophisticated, classy clothes in terms of color, in terms of design, in terms of aesthetics, everything. But after a certain point in your life, you your priorities change. So now I can just wear a white t-shirt or just a black t-shirt, and I can write hundreds of poems sitting somewhere, or making love. I can just create compositions or write a lot of songs. I can write a lot of scripts, movies, and everything. It doesn't bother me because I enjoy my company, and that's why people, when they be with me or they are around me, they enjoy that and they want to have that. But I'm not easily available that much because continuously I'm doing something. But why I'm mentioning this thing again is sometimes these people come to you, they tell you that they are your friends, but you can guess or you can understand, if you have cultivated that inside you, that they are not your friends. So there is a difference between relatives, friends, acquaintances, but they will tell you that they are your friends. Explicitly, they will mention, but you won't get that vibe. You won't get that aura. You won't feel anything about it. But you should be very careful about them because they are using the brand India to destroy India's culture, to destroy India's image outside India, as well as among the youth of India. Now you have to understand that after the invasions and everything, our forefathers or our seniors or our respected people, মনীষী যাদের আমরা বলি, great people in our, especially in our Bengali culture, in terms of music, in terms of cinema, they believed in something, right? When I watched a movie called Kalpana by Uday Shankar, when I watched the movie, I felt what he wanted to tell, and I think I watched it a few years back, and I was fond of his dancing, by the way, but I didn't know that he made a movie like that. And at that time, I was also going through similar things, and I have been going through that thing for a long time. But I didn't know that he was also going through that, and he was actually making a movie on that. Because I have written some scripts, I have made short films also based on that in a different way. But the essence, the basic of the story is so important today, and you have to watch the movie Kalpana. I think I have shared it in Awaken, because this is a very important movie. If you understand the meaning of it, you can tell the story, or if you really understand that before, because if you care for it, then people will also care for it. And he literally cared for it. The subject, the way of representation, he cared for it. He genuinely believed in it. So whenever someone in the crowd is also watching that, he or she can believe that, right? But the problem is, if the crowd is getting down and down in terms of aesthetics, in terms of philosophy, they are starting to insult our seniors, they are starting to, you know, destroy the name of our seniors, our forefathers. Especially I will mention Satyajit Ray, Ritwik Ghatak, Ravi Shankar. এরা আমাদের অনেক কিছু করেছেন আমাদের বাংলা কালচারের জন্য। রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর অবভিয়াসলি, এবং আরো অনেকে, আমাদের কাজী নজরুল ইসলাম, এরা যারা করেছেন, এবং আমাদের আরো অনেক কবি ছিলেন, এরাও প্রচুর কাজকর্ম করছেন। সো উই আর ডুইং আ সেশন ইন অ্যাওয়েকেন কল নো ইয়োর হিরোজ, and we will talk about these people. But why I am mentioning that is they loved their profession, they loved their art and craft, and they went beyond it because it was fueled by abundance, right? Whether it was cinema, whether it was music, whether it was art, it can be fine arts, it can be dramatic arts, it can be liberal arts, whatever it is. You give a lot of names today. These people were doing holistic learning based on Indian culture, that holistic traditions we used to have. And somewhere Joe Hisaishi is also connected to that. And many other composers. We talked about Tandun. Tandun has that flavor. Joe Hisaishi has that. Shigeru has that. Then Kurosawa had that. Satyajit Ray obviously had a very good discussion with Kurosawa, and Kurosawa mentioned that not to see Satyajit Ray's movies like not to have known the sun and the moon. So something like that. That was a great relationship because that was so genuine. They were great storytellers, right? Japanese culture, Indian culture, they were so common. So many things they could relate to. And when I watched Seven Samurai, when I watched Rashomon, when I watched many of Kurosawa's films, Ran, Ikiru, then your Kagemusha, then your Forbidden Fortress, the Hidden Fortress, that one. What was that? Madadayo. These were great movies, and Kurosawa is one of the masters like Satyajit Ray. They created masterpieces after masterpieces. It was not a one-time thing because they were not driven by scarcity. They didn't even think about it. For Kurosawa, for Ray, and I have walked through that path. So I know how it feels like, you don't think about anything else. If it is music, it's music. That's your world and you love it. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You just love it and you enjoy playing music. You enjoy listening to music. You enjoy the story that is attached to the music. Cinema, that becomes your life. Cinema was my calling. Music was my calling. I loved music, but cinema is the thing I focused on because I thought that this is what I do in life. Everything is coming together: music, storytelling, writing, cinematography. I was very interested in photography. I was doing a lot of photography, cinematography. So everything is coming together in cinema. When I talk about animation, then you are creating the world from scratch. That's why I'm just giving you a backstory also, because Miyazaki is a towering figure in the world of animation, because Pixar আজকে হয়তো তৈরি হতো না এইরকম ভাবে যদি আজকে মিয়াজাকির ইনফ্লুয়েন্স না থাকতো। আমি এগেইন এন্ড এগেইন আমি মেনশন করেছি এবং আজকে আমি আবার মেনশন করব যে জো হিসাইশির মিউজিকটা এতটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কেন। বিফোর দ্যাট লেট মি জাস্ট show a picture of Joe Hisaishi, otherwise you can then relate to it. These are passionate people. So one thread that binds us all is the passion, and this group I'm talking about, they don't have that passion. They are just trying to use their name or their brand, and they want to get away with it. So that's not being a star or being a great artist to me, because for me that stardom and everything is coming as a byproduct. Before that you have to have that passion, that love, that enthusiasm for your chosen endeavor or for your chosen artistic field. It can be music, it can be both, it can be acting, it can be writing, whatever it is. You love one thing and the other. You love humanity in general, and then you just channelize your energies through different outlets. So these are creative outlets. But these people will think that music is a bad thing for the world. These people will think that writing is a bad thing, and they intentionally try to destroy the writing process. They try to destroy the language. They try to destroy the education. They try to destroy the music. So when you are continuously bombarded with uh, media content that is driven by this kind of mindset, then obviously your aesthetics will suffer. And you know what is the problem? Your aesthetics will suffer, and they have their sepoys. They will give it to the marketplace, and the moment you will take shelter, you will take refuge, you will go for isolation, because that is the time you are growing, you are introspecting, you are enjoying a great time with music, stories, maybe books, maybe cinema, because that's the best friend you can get, right? Sometimes a pet, sometimes another best friend, and you don't need to tell them that they are your best friends. They don't need to tell you that you are their best friend, and they will know. Sometimes it's a silent love, silent friendship, a silent relation. You don't have to utter words explicitly, and we communicate. For them, it's like continuously uttering word in a very verbose way. That's why it loses its appeal also. And they want to destroy education, they want to destroy art, culture, music, and everything. But they will take the refuge, or they will escape under the brand name, under the success, under the money. So if you see, if you are an artist, it's more difficult, because the more you are into art, the more involved you are, the more engaged you are. These people come into your life, and they will you will take them based on their face values, and they will appear to be something, maybe a friend, maybe a well-wisher, and eventually you will find out that they are toxic people in your life, if you have the right person in your life who can guide you through the relationship, or at least give you some tips so that you can think in the right perspective. But out of humility, out of our greatness or abundance, whatever you say, we tend to ignore all the petty things. And we think that after all, we are human beings, we can forgive, we can live together. But I can tell you from experience, I have always been like that. So I can tell you from experience, these people, they first find a hook. With the hook, they want to build a relation. Ultimately, their end goal is to break some relation. Ultimately, their end goal is to break good relations, especially if it is a great relation, if it is a good relation, good to great. If it is a relation that is evoking a lot of love, evoking a lot of emotion, they cannot withstand it. It's their goal to destroy the emotion. And they will play a lot of tricks and techniques, a lot of games, a lot of mockery, and they will term it as creativity. And you will see you are just having fun, you are just pulling some leg, you are just having a fun time. But behind that, that's okay. We all do that. That's enjoying life. We are enjoying life at its fullest. We should do that, because this is what we should do in our life. We should enjoy, we should explore, we should try different things. But these people will use that exploration attitude with your love, trust, respect, your humility. They will find a hook. They will build rapport. They will build a relationship eventually, if you permit, if you allow. And then they will destroy cinema. They will destroy music. They will destroy relationships. Especially if it is a great relationships, you can understand that they will destroy it, and they will destroy the good things in you. They try to do that. I know you won't allow that. I know I won't allow that. But once in a while, we can get a friend with whom you can feel the solace, you can feel the bliss. They are against that. The moment you start to feel bliss, whether it's coming from cinema, whether it's coming from art, whether it's coming from poetry, whether it's coming from a performance, whether it's coming from a book, whether it's coming from a friend, whether it's coming from a relative, whatever it is, the bliss they cannot withstand. They like to have agitation, frustration, depression, isolation, a very resentful or guilty isolation. They want to have a sadness inside you. They want to bring you down. These are the things. That's their basic nature. but they camouflage it, or they wrap it around with a smile, the brand, with the dresses, with makeup. Sometimes the makeup is based on plastic surgery also. So many other things. So be very careful, because I won't mention it again and again, but since we are talking about Joe Hisaishi, and I will explain in a different way through art forms, because that's more important, how we communicate through art forms. But always when you are listening to a person like Joe Hisaishi, or you are watching a movie of Miyazaki, or you are listening to similar people, or you are watching similar movies, I would suggest, because I have thrown many people out of cinema halls whenever I have run the film clubs. I didn't allow mobile phones. I have thrown mobile phones. I have switched. I have made them switch off their phones, because you need to respect a fellow artist, you need to respect a fellow performer, you need to respect a fellow colleague, if they are worthy of respect. Especially, this is the term this is the statement you should focus on: if they are worthy of respect, if they have earned your respect, then only you do that. Otherwise, if you want to spend some time alone, or maybe with your limited set of friends who are your true friends or your well wishers, you know that they are, then you believe in them. Most importantly, you believe in yourself, right? Because you will see a lot of people like this, and they want to expand that group. They want to make people like that. That is also their trick. So they want to take art from you, they want to take cinema out of you, they want to take education out of you, they want to take music out of you. And eventually, when you love music more than anything in the world, when you love cinema more than anything in the world, they cannot take it away. But they can do that, if you give them a chance with a close relationship. So you are giving them the power, you are giving them the chance to destroy the relationship, destroy the good things in you. So don't do that. Test them if needed for a while. If they have crossed the threshold, just reject them straight away. Don't even think about it. Because music is important, cinema is important, and paying respect to the great artists, our seniors, our Monishi Jader Ami Kotha Bollam, great people who have fought for this profession through their artworks, not like just going there with a sword and for fighting, but they have karma yoga is a one term we use in Indian culture. It's like you're doing a lot of work, and you are not driven by those petty things. You are ignoring the negative things or the petty things. You are driven by something much bigger. Abundance. It is coming from abundance, love, passion, enthusiasm. And you are just translating that or communicating that through your music, right? Joe Hisaishi is a composer. When you have seen him performing or composing, you will see that, because he is so genuine. He doesn't have to explain it explicitly. You look at a screenshot, you look at a snapshot, you look at just on one frame from his performance, and each and every frame you will see that passion, that enthusiasm. And that cannot happen if you are fake, you are phony. That can only happen when you are truly genuine, you care about music, you have dedicated your life towards music, or towards cinema, or any kind of art form, or humanity, if I say so, because that happens hand in hand. That goes hand in hand. So but look at these people, because you don't have to like put a lot of effort in these people. You don't have to give them a lot of importance, but just be aware of these people, because the more you stay with them, you feel bad about yourself, because it's like insulting yourself, your time, energy, your passion, your enthusiasm. You just waste that thing. That is what you should respect if you want to compose like a person like if you want to compose like Joe Hisaishi, or you want to compose like yourself. You don't have to imitate anyone in the world. You find your own voice, you find your own style, you find your own style of conducting. Like I mentioned Tandun, he doesn't use a baton every time. Sometimes he's using hand, sometimes he's using baton, but it's not like just this kind of, or just like this kind of, 3 by 4. It's not a waltz, or it's not like a 4 by 4. He's just using conventional technique. If you look at Pekka Salonen, he uses that. Mr. Rattle uses that. But if you look at, and many other people, um, when I talked about Bernstein, he had his own, Leonard Bernstein had his own way of conducting. If you look at Karajan, he is closing his eyes and he is conducting. So Joe Hisaishi is somewhere there. I don't want to compare because uh, they are individual people and they have their individual way of conducting or composing. But if I talk about the intensity, if I talk about the enthusiasm or passion, yeah, sometimes people call him the John Williams of Japanese music. And if you really understand music, you will get what they are trying to say. But again, I will say that you don't have to compare, but that comparison is talking about the passion and enthusiasm and the intricate details he is putting in music, and something more than that. I don't want to explicitly mention, but you listen to John Williams music, it's very embellished, articulated, and it's very vast, and a lot of things happening. Joe Hisaishi, sometimes lots of a lot of thing happening, sometimes it's very minimalistic. But what I like about Joe Hisaishi is, and Indians should know, and I will tell everyone listening to that uh, music or listening to this podcast uh, or this session, you listen to Joe Hisaishi. I will give you the discography in the description. You listen to him, and most importantly, you listen to the cinematic appeal of the music. And what I like about Joe Hisaishi is Japanese classical music, Western classical music. He's influenced by it. He has internalized the music, yet it feels like Japanese. He's not copying something. Even he is influenced by Western classical music that feels so Japanese and universal, yet universal. It is Japanese yet universal. And আমি সবসময় বলেছি যখন আমরা একটা লং লাস্টিং কাজকে ক্রিয়েট করি, that has to have that kind of that appeal or that quality that is lasting for a long time, stands the test of time, because it is Japanese yet universal. Our movies, when Satyajit Ray started making movies, Indian yet universal, that human emotions, uh, you feel the pain for that character uh, wherever you are in the world, through music, through visuals, through words, every way. Because cinema is an amalgamation. Everything is happening in a very coherent way or in a very cohesive way. So if you are cohesive inside, a person of integrity, then you can put that in your film. It happens naturally, or in your musical composition, because you are a person of integrity when you are composing. If you think some elements are making it deviate from that integrity, artistic integrity, compositional integrity, or philosophical integrity, or your own personal integrity, you will feel something is wrong, right? Sometimes you mention, sometimes you don't, but you will feel something is wrong. And that is something you should respect as an artist. Then you can appreciate this music in a much better way, much better way. So, cinematic apple, you should understand. Uh, Studio Ghibli is a big part. Miyazaki's animation, and Miyazaki also wrote lyrics of that, some of those songs. Da-dee-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da, da-da-da-da-dee-dee, da-da-dee-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Tururaruru, turu, turururururu, turu, turururururu, turururu, turururururu, tururururu, turururu, 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 ভুল করলাম একটু, tururu, turururu, ভ্যারিয়েশন, piano, strings, voices. It's a mix of that. And you look at another performance and you will see woodwinds coming. Piano performance, songs and woodwinds. Then also inherent inspiration from Bach. If you listen to Bach very carefully, you will see that I mean very much influence of Bach. Especially there is a movie called Okuribito. I wanted to see some scenes from Okuribito, but you won't be able to listen to the sound, I think. So I will keep it very short, maybe 45 minutes only, and then tomorrow I will just play some of the pieces in piano, and I will tell you the voices whenever it is used, who whether it's a countertenor or soprano, what is the voice quality, voice range, and what are the instruments used in that composition. We will talk about that. But most importantly, I am talking about the mindset you should have while listening to the music, the mindset you should have while you are watching the animation. Because why I am mentioning this explicitly, you have to understand, in India, we couldn't come up with a great animation movie till now. If we compare it with Pixar or Miyazaki, because Miyazaki has done the drawings himself. Even Boro the Caterpillar is his last short movie, where he's trying to use technology a bit, but still he's doing all those paintings and sketches himself. And that's a process. He's continuously driven by that passion and enthusiasm. Sometimes he's having the noodles and ramen noodles, and then he's doing this kind of exercises in his office with his fellow colleagues, and they are motivated by something. Even the new design team, the new people who have come on board for that computer or the digital aspect of making the film, they are also inspired by something more. And he is looking at the sun in the whenever he is getting time. So being in the nature, and if you cannot do that, if you hate nature, you are a man of machines, you want to stay surrounded by machines, then you cannot think about all these things. You have to love nature. He is going and watching the sunset, and we do it naturally, right? We have a walk in the woods. We go to see the sunset or the sunrise, and that's a part of our being. That's a way of life. We don't have to explicitly mention that I went to see a sunrise today, I went to see a sunset today. Sometimes we played a piano for a while, we played the guitar for a while, we played the flute for a while, we played the violin for a while. Now we think we should take a walk. We are just taking a walk. We wrote a lot of things today. We are just taking a walk. Maybe we are starting the day with walk. We are being close to the nature. The more we do that, that changes something in ourselves, and that makes us what we are. And মিউজিকটা যখন সেখান থেকে একটা অথেন্টিক জায়গা থেকে আসছে, then we just express ourselves. We listen to a lot of music. We love nature. We want to be uh, a part of the nature, which we naturally are. And that is Indian culture. That is Indian culture is all about. And many other cultures, Maya, Inca, and all these cultures were very close to nature, and we worship nature. So we saw music in nature. If you come to Bengal, you will see that music is in nature, poetry is in nature. So if you know how to harness that, you can create a lot of great compositions, dance, music, art, everything is in the nature. Philosophy, even arguments, even the debates, you can see in the nature. You can just go to a place and you can feel that thing. If you go to coffee house, you will feel that the place is giving you a lot of energy to do some constructive dialogue, do a lot of debate. But we the mass has been brought down to substandard level. So they cannot do that anymore. They just go to the places. They don't even feel the energy of the place. They don't even feel the purpose of their life. They don't even know what they truly love, whether it's a person, place, or a value, or a principle, or some emotion. They don't even know what they value. That's a sad part, because they don't even know what they love. Even they don't even take the choice. They don't even fight for it. So they don't even know what to fight for. So whenever somebody is doing something, they just want to go. It's a great thing to go with the flow. But provided you know what you are, then you can go with the flow. Otherwise you can go anywhere and you can lose yourself. You can lose your essence, in fact. So first, the foundation is very important. When we have a solid foundation, when we know where we are coming from, what is our personality, when we have found ourselves, when we know who we really are, then we can do anything in our life. We can lose ourselves. We can just go in a place. We can just go with the flow. We can just accept whatever comes in our way. But we have built ourselves like that. We know that we are not betraying ourselves. So first you have to find really that what you really want to do, or how you really want to express what you really are. So that's a very important thing. And এই জায়গাটায় অনেকগুলো ডিসকাশন আমরা দরকার হবে, because that's a very complex area. And many, though that group I talked about, they actually play in this part, because there is a lot of scope for having a lot of debates in this place. Actually you don't have to, but to make the confusion, to build that confusion, to build that conflict, they will try to bring a lot of friction in this discussion, this part of the discussion, because that is where they are playing. They want to break the relationships, they want to break homes, they want to break relations, they want to break friendships. That's their nature. So whenever you are uttering something, they will use the term, when you lose yourself. Obviously you have to lose yourself to create great art, but you know when. And sometimes you are guided by intuition, because you have made yourself in such a way that you don't even think about it. You just do your stuff, you just express yourself. So they won't go that deep. They just take one layer or two layer. They will take the superficial elements, the materialistic elements, and they will play around that, so that they can build the relation. They will break your passion and enthusiasm towards great art. Most importantly, they are working on that mindset. Their your passion, your enthusiasm, they want to diminish that. Sometimes you feel that I need a Christmas really to have some great time with myself. I haven't thought of spending a really great time with myself for a while. So I really need it this year, or I really need it this time. So listening is a gift you can give to someone. And I respect, and I am grateful to people who are listening to this, and who have given me a lot of feedback regarding this. I'm really grateful. And is listening a lost art? And how can you create great music if you are not listening enough? So why I am mentioning that? Because Indian culture আমরা কথা বলছি, Indian culture to have a discussion like this is a very shameful act, right? So when we are having a discussion like this, that shows যে আমাদের কতটা এখনো যেতে হবে. But maybe few of us, we are doing that, and maybe it has always been like that for a while. Few of us are doing that. But appreciation for music, because initially the appreciation was there. Nobody was forcing you to do something, nobody was imposing something on you. But now there is a group, the group I'm mentioning about, uh, the group I'm mentioning actually, they want to impose things, because I can tell you one thing about them also, one more thing, and then I just scrap them off. They don't like something. Suppose they don't like Western classical music, right? Or maybe country, or maybe jazz, or maybe reggae, or maybe rock. They don't like. They only like to listen to pop music. They want to build a business around pop music, but they want to destroy the country genre. They want to destroy the jazz genre, especially jazz. They have a because jazz has a lot of scope for improvisation. And if you really love music, naturally sometimes, and if you understand the American language or American rhythm, generally you go towards the jazz music. I was in Shantiniketan, and I was continuously listening to country and jazz music. Even I did a performance which is a fusion of jazz music and Rabindra Sangit also, and that was a really good one. I intend to make another one, but it was really great, and we can add performance conceptual art to that also. But we will talk about that, what is the process behind it, and how can you go beyond it, theme and improvisation. But I was listening a lot of country music, folk music, Bob Dylan, obviously Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, but many other people, many other young stars, maybe other established people, uh, many other people, great with lyrics, great with music. because I was very fond of country music, and I'm still am. I listen to a lot of country music, jazz music, Western classical. I listen to Western classical more, opera, Broadway, and Western classical more. I listen to that, but I have spent a lot of time in my life listening to, jazz, country, especially country, because when I started writing my songs, I listened to a lot of country songs. And I don't know what is the inspiration, but my first song that I wrote, and it was a beautiful lyrics. It's not that I had written it. That's why I am telling it. But it was pure love, and that was based on country rhythm. And I used that song in my film, and that was a very significant moment when a artist is choosing his path. At that time, that strumming was going on, and that song came. I think it was AABA. I wrote it in AABA form, and there was a coda. I think so, AABA with a coda. But the chorus, people used to hum. My sister used to hum around me, listening to that chorus and all that stuff. But why I am talking about all these things, that is very important, because Japanese culture, Asian cultures, they have a lot in common. Even America, India, they have a lot in common. The greats had got it. Now even the youth are not getting enough of it, because they don't delve deep into it. But if you do that, you will understand, right? And so we need to talk about that. We need to talk about cinema. We need to talk about music. But to give an introduction to Joe Hisaishi, I talked about a lot of things, because when you get this mindset right, you can eventually create great animation movies. Why Pixar is able to create, we will do in the next session. I think the after the session of Sakamoto, Hildur, and Yoyoma, we will do a session on Michael Giacchino. So he's a wonderful composer, and he has also worked a lot on animation movies. So I'm just giving you the teaser, and we will talk about his composition style. That is very different from Joe Hisaishi. Joe Hisaishi, when he is composing, that has a different kind of soul. That is taking you beyond something. It is transporting you to that world. Why I'm talking about all these things again and again? Because in animation, again, I will mention that you are creating something from scratch. For Miyazaki, he is doing the painting, like painting or sketching himself or with his team. A lot of manual effort involved, but it has its own charm. And when I'm talking about Pixar, Pixar was built on superior computer animation without compromising the humanistic appeal or the human appeal, right? So when we look at all these stories, all these animations, great stories. Now you look at direction of Andrew Stanton. We will talk about all those things like Wally. If you look at Wally, beautiful story, beautiful animation. It was created from scratch, maybe using it was created using computer animation, but the story is beautiful. Even if you look at Incredibles, beautiful story, Brad Bird. You look at Finding Nemo, you look at Monsters Incorporated, you look at Finding Dory, you look at Toy Story, obviously. You look at Bug's Life, and all these stories, great human stories, right? When the music was accompanying with the visuals, it had a lot of impact. But Pixar আজকে হতো না যদি আমাদের মিয়াজাকির ইন্সপিরেশন না থাকতো, because John Lasseter was a ardent fan of Hayao Miyazaki. I think I mentioned one video during one session, যে যখন Hayazaki was given the when Hayao Miyazaki was given the Oscar, John Lasseter gave a speech before that, because he was a great fan, and he paid a lot of homage or respect to Miyazaki's animation also. Now we talk about Pixar, and Walt Disney has acquired it, and we are getting to see great stories. But in the last few years, because of that mindset or that group, and I will explain in detail, we have seen it going down. Many people won't be able to talk about it, but the more you know, the more you know, right? It has gone down. Intricate details, many other things were there. Now it has the thing has gone down and become narrow. I think they will improve, obviously, because they are doing continuous innovations. But that is why I'm mentioning the mindset. In India, we haven't come up with the great animation movies. Few great animation based on epics, obviously, they have tried, but to create a full-fledged animation movie which will stay for the with the audience for a long time, we haven't done that. Pixar is doing again and again. Maybe each year they are coming up with a new movie, and it takes a lot of effort because it's a huge team. People are working on minute details, intricate details. It's a lot of work. Miyazaki, when he worked, it was he was drawing everything, as I'm mentioning again and again. But what are they doing? They are creating a world. Now you are creating a new world, and you are composing as a composer and as a musician, uh, or as a composer and a conductor. You are creating music for that world, and it's a make believe thing. You are a great, you are looking at great storytelling, great characters, and that is layered by a great music, a score, a compositional score. And you are believing in that world, you are believing in those characters. And sometimes if you look at Miyazaki's movie, uh, you have better friends in those movies as characters more than you have in your real life. I mean, you think, if I wish if I had a friend like that. Many people do. I mean, I am very fortunate that I had great friends like that. That's why I can relate to it. But still, if you think that book is your best friend, the piano is your best friend, the musical instrument is your best friend, the cinema, watching a movie, that it can be a projection screen, or it can be the theater, that is your best friend. We have all gone through those experiences, right? When we are totally into it, because that's the world we want to live in. That's the time we want to spend. That's the time we want to enjoy with ourselves. Now you have a story, you have great characters, you have a great narrative, and a composer is composing for that movie. So what can you expect from the composer? Obviously, he or she has to be authentic. He or she has to be genuine. He or she has to communicate and express a lot. Now, Joe Hisaishi is one of those people. He cares for that movie. He cares for that story. He cares for that music. He cares for the characters. He cares for Miyazaki. He cares for Miyazaki's lyrics. And we can see those characters, right? You see Spirited Away, you see Laputa, you see Totoro, you see Nausicaa, many other movies. And I will also mention a movie called Okuribito. It's a beautiful movie. It's one of the best movies I have seen in my life. And it's a it has great moments, it has great characters, it has great conflicts, and very subtle internal conflicts, very subtle. um, I don't want to put it into words, explicitly. I don't want to mention. If you watch the movie Okuribito, then we can have a discussion. If you haven't watched, you must watch the movie Okuribito. Stones, in Japan, stones used to be a mode of communication, and they used to act like letters. There is a father and son relationship, and he's meeting his father after a long time. And I literally, when I watched this movie for the first time, long time back, I literally cried, you know because there is a scene when he's discovering a cello, which is a student cello, a smaller cello, and he's playing that. And there is a scene that stone is there, and something is written over there, and it's a beautiful scene. I mean, I don't want to mention that, but these are great moments in cinematic history. These are great moments in cinema as a language. These are great moments in music. These are great moments. And the way I can tell you that when you listen to Studio Ghibli, or when you listen to Takeshi Kitano's collaboration with Joe Hisaishi, you will see the music is very different. There's a lot of violence involved in the movies. In some of the movies, Hanabi is a different movie, but there are moments when you can see the tempo of the music, but tempo of the movie is very different, and he is adapting to that storytelling approach. When you see his collaboration with Miyazaki, it's something else. It's something else. It's transporting you. You just believe those fictional characters are existing in your real life. and you stay with them for a long time, maybe till for the rest of your life. After you have watched the movie, you believe in those characters and they stay with you. Even people tend to leave, they stay with you. So the music has that kind of power. এত সুন্দর মিউজিক যেগুলো আমাদের কিছু আমাদের সাথে থেকে যায়, রাইট? যত আমাদের জীবন থেকে অনেক সুপারফিশিয়াল বন্ধু রিলেটিভ যারাই আছে তারা অনেক সময় চলে যায়, বাট আমরা সিনেমার উপরে ভরসা রাখি, আমরা মিউজিকের উপরে ভরসা রাখি, আর এই ক্যারেক্টার্স গুলো আমাদের জীবনে থেকে যায় অ্যাজ ফ্রেন্ডস। এই সিচুয়েশন, এই মোমেন্টস গুলো আমাদের জীবনে থেকে যায়। এগেইন অকরিপিত যখন হচ্ছে, ইট ইজ অ্যারাউন্ড 2008 or 9, তো সেটা যখন হচ্ছে তখন আবার আমাদের আমাদের জাস্ট গিভ মি 1 সেকেন্ড না, তখন আমরা ওটা দেখছি চেলোর হিউজ। কেন মিয়াজাকির ওখানে আমি দেখছি পিয়ানো আছে, ভয়েস আছে, কখনো উড উইন্ডস ইউজড হচ্ছে, সেগুলো আমি মেনশন করব কালকে যখন আমি ডিসকাস করব, আমি বলবো। কিন্তু যখন আমি অকরিপিত দেখছি ডিপারচার্স, যেটা ইংলিশে ডিপারচার্স বলে, অসাধারণ চেলোর ইউজ। আবার বাখের চেলোর ইউজ থেকে ট্রানজিশন করে একটা সিন, একটা ইউজ আছে, মানে সেটা এত সুন্দর বাখের পিসটাকে বাজানো হয়েছে এবং এত সুন্দর সেটাকে সিনেমাটিক্যালি ইউজ করা হয়েছে। দ্যাট ইজ বিউটিফুল, ইউ মাস্ট লুক অ্যাট দ্যাট অ্যান্ড আই উইল শেয়ার উইথ ইউ দ্য সিনস। এবং কালকে হয়তো আমি দেখাবো, যখন আমি করি একটু বাজাবো, একটু দেখাবো। বাট আমি এই যে বলছি যে ওয়াশিকাজু মেরা বলে একজন কাউন্টার টেরার প্রিন্সেস মোনোনোকের, যেটা আমি গাইলাম সেটা গেয়েছে, ঠিক আছে? সে একজন কাউন্টার টেনার, 3.5 octaves হচ্ছে তার রেঞ্জ। সো শি ইজ সিঙ্গিং ইন দ্যাট। আই উইল শো ইউ দ্যাট টুমরো। আবার সাইলেন্ট লাভ বলে একটা মিউজিক্যাল পিস আছে, যেখানে একটু জাইলোফোন, ডিফারেন্ট কাইন্ডস অফ পারকাশন ইউজ হচ্ছে, একটু ইলেকট্রো মিউজিকের একটু ফিল আছে। সো এক্সপেরিমেন্টেশন মিউজিক, রাইট? আবার অকরিপিততে আমি দেখছি লন্ডন সিম্ফনি অর্কেস্ট্রার, বিশেষ করে আমি একটা সিন দেখাবো, আনফরচুনেটলি আই ক্যানট শো ইউ টুডে, টুমরো আই উইল শো ইউ। লন্ডন সিম্ফনি অর্কেস্ট্রা সে যখন চেলোটা বাজাচ্ছে না, বা স্ট্রিং সেকশন যখন বাজাচ্ছে, স্পেশালি দ্য স্ট্রিং সেকশন, ইট ইজ টেকিং ইউ টু আ ডিফারেন্ট ওয়ার্ল্ড। I mean, that makes you silent. I mean, again, I will mention Gopi Gain Bagabaine, যেটা সত্যজিৎ রায় বলেছিলেন, that kind of music actually makes you silent, right? তো হীরক রাজার দেশেটাও আমরা সেটা দেখেছি, দ্যাট কাইন্ড অফ মিউজিক মেক্স ইউ সাইলেন্ট। সো অকরিপিত ডিপারচার্স, আই উইল শো ইউ দ্য পারফরমেন্স অর দ্য স্মল পিস, 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and that is played by London Symphony Orchestra, and that is beautiful. Watch, whether you have watched the movie or not, you will enjoy the music, and sometimes driven by the music you will try to watch the movie. You will want to know the story, what kind of story cinematic you can tell cinematically using that music. You will be inspired by that. Sometimes you watch the music and then you look for the video performances, you know, how people are playing that music, how he is conducting that music, and you get mesmerized by that. But that story, again, when I remember Okuribito, still now I remember that characters, I remember precise moments in that film. I remember the conflict. I remember dialogues in very special occasions, very special situations. I still remember. Sometimes silence is getting used, sometimes music is getting used. Nothing is redundant, nothing is extra, nothing is superficial in that movie or in any movie. I haven't found anything superficial in any of the movie that Joe Hisaishi has composed, because he is not that person himself, right? He's very genuine, authentic. He is just expressing himself through all those movies. So that is one thing, and you will enjoy it a lot when music really means something to you. That is one thing I can tell. Now, quickly, I will mention few things before I wrap it up for today, because I am not going to go for any thing. I am not going to play something for you today, but I will try to tell you a few things about it. Mamoru Fujisawa. Arigato. Mamoru Fujisawa is his real name, and professionally he is known as Joe Hisaishi. And piano scores, if you listen to why I want to mention this, because when you listen to his piano scores, right, that has something magical, because the way he touches his keys or the way he has written the music, when the other generally he is playing the piano himself, apart from conducting. But even if somebody else is doing a cover or playing the piano, you have to have that magical element inside you, and you really have to love music and the instrument and and cinema and the cinematic appeal, those emotions you have to respect and love. Otherwise you cannot play a music like that also, or even you cannot sing like that. এই যে গানটা হচ্ছে, এটা তো আমি এরকম ভাবে গাইলাম, বিভিন্ন জন বিভিন্ন ভাবে গাইছে। এই যে মিউজিকটা আছে, এটা আমি যখন পিয়ানোতে বাজাবো কালকে, ইউ উইল আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। ভেরি সিম্পল টিউনস, ভেরি মানে খুব সোজা সাপটা একটা স্কেলের মধ্যে আছে। বিকজ ওয়েন ইউ আর টকিং অ্যাবাউট মেলোডি, we can talk about the scale, we can talk about the arpeggios, we can talk about the phrases, we can talk about the embellishments. Mainly I will play some phrases today, as I always do. Tomorrow morning I will play some musical phrases, যেখানে এই একটু থিম বাজলো, মনোনকের থিম, এই একটু অপরিবিত থিমটা বাজলো, আমি সকালে আজকে বাজাচ্ছিলাম, I was playing all these things in the morning today, and just by playing those few notes I felt magical, something blissful inside me. Obviously I have seen the movie, so that has its a significant impression on me. But when you're playing the music for itself, like just for the sake of music, it's doing something in you, and you have to have that to press that key with that emotion, the intensity of emotion. You have to have that inside you, and you cannot fake it. In music you cannot fake it, in cinema you cannot fake it, and you shouldn't. People who do it, it is reflected, right? The audience will get it. I will reject it straight away, but you shouldn't fake, because this is authentic human expression. How can you fake that? You won't be able to face yourself in front of the mirror if you do that, and how can you live like that? So how important his music is. And if I talk about sometimes very minimalistic, experimental electronic, and Japanese and Western classical both. And he has worked as a music engraver. I will talk about, maybe tomorrow I will tell you what is a music engraver. Music engraver, arranger, and conductor. ঠিক আছে? And actually music engraving মানে কি? Art of drawing music notation at a high quality for the purpose of mechanical reproduction. এবং কপিং মিউজিক অনেক সময়, if you have seen the movie called কপিং বিটোভেন অনেক সময় সিনোনিমাসলি ইউজ হয়, বাট স্লাইট ডিফারেন্স আছে। বিকজ মিউজিক এনগ্রেভিং করতে গেলে ইউ নিড হায়ার ডিগ্রি অফ স্কিল অ্যান্ড কোয়ালিটি। Usually when you are going for publication for music engraving, you need higher skills and quality. And I can tell you one thing, some people অনেকে আমার সাথে আর্গিউ করে যে এত কিসে লাগবে, এত মিনিমালিস্টিক ফিল হচ্ছে, এত সুন্দর ফিল আছে, এত সিম্পল পিয়ানো, to play that piece in that simplistic manner, because simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So to play the music in that way, you have to be that person, you have to love it. So to go along that path or to reach that position, it takes a lot. So once you have done that, it seems very easy, but it's not really that easy. But if you love that, it can become very easy. But to love that, to love like that, or to love like that, to play that score, it takes a lot. Not everyone can do that. They should, obviously, but they can't. So that's one thing. And so 1984 থেকে তিনি হায়াও মিয়াজাকির সাথে আছেন, and he's an arranger too. That is one thing, because I have already mentioned all these things while I was talking about maybe Emma, আমাদের Rachel Portman or Alejandro Desplat. I was mentioning that who is an arranger, who is a conductor. Now you can see that he is a music engraver, arranger, as well as a conductor. Now Takeshi Kitanoর A Scene at the Sea বলে একটা 1991 একটা মুভি ছিল, খুব সুন্দর। সেটা থেকে সাইলেন্ট লাভটা আমি বললাম, দ্যাট ইজ এ পার্ট অফ দ্যাট। সোনাটিন বলে একটা মুভি আছে, কিডস রিটার্ন আছে, হানাবি আই হ্যাভ শেয়ার্ড আ পিস অলরেডি, দ্যাটস এ পিস, কিকুজিরো আছে, ব্রাদার অ্যান্ড ডলস আছে, আর তাকেও ওয়াতানাবের সাথেও আম, তিনি থেকেছেন, হি ওয়াজ এ স্টুডেন্ট। তো অ্যানিম কম্পোজারে ওনার আগে তাকেও ওয়াতানাবে বলে একজন ছিলেন, অ্যান্ড হি ওয়াজ এ স্টুডেন্ট অফ হিম। সো ওখান থেকেও কিছু ইন্সপিরেশন ডেফিনেটলি আছে, সেটা। আর ভায়োলিনটাও তিনি মাঝে মাঝে বাজান, সো সেটাও আছে। অ্যান্ড কি বলবো, আচ্ছা আমার সাথে একটা কি আছে আমি একটু বলে দিই, আমার সাথে রিলেশনটা কি আছে। অ্যাট আ ভেরি ইয়াং এজ, নট অবশ্যই ইয়াং, when I was adolescent, I had practiced a lot of instruments in my life. Now I have taken up violin again, but at a very young age I used to learn music, and everything happened very genuinely, so I never forced anything in my life, right? I was listening to music in a very authentic manner. I was enjoying those movies. I was absorbing everything I could. Uh, I was experiencing that music, and it became a part of myself, and nobody can take it away. And I used to learn music from Suzuki violin. I had a friend, and I had some materials through which I was learning violin, and that's really good because their approach is very different. And one of the songs I learned is "Long, Long Ago, Long Ago," that Satyajit Ray used in Ghore Baide, and I learned the song, and at the time I used to play that also, and Minuet, and then your Green Sleeves, and all those songs, Scarborough Fair, and all these songs I used to play. But Suzuki Violin method is a very good approach, and he also learned from that. So I didn't know much about it, but somewhere we connected because through the music, when I was playing piano. Uh, I was creating some compositions. Some people who knew, I mean, uh, Joe Hisaishi, they told me, sometimes they told, sometimes they didn't, that had a flavor of Joe Hisaishi, or sometimes Yani, because these things I have internalized. So whenever I have composed, I don't know whether I never imitated it in my life, but I just felt like playing. So maybe few phrases it will feel like, just like if you listen to his scores, sometimes it will feel like Western classical phrases. So that is very internalized. You cannot tell that he's literally copying everything, but that is how we do. Like our inspirations, uh, we internalize our inspirations and then we just express. So এরকম হয়, অনেক সময় হয়েছে যারা খুব অ্যানালিসিস করে মিউজিক, আই ডোন্ট লাইক দোজ পিপল। দে অ্যাকচুয়ালি tend to analyze each and everything, then you lose the poetry, then you lose the music. So I don't like these people much. But when you analyze each and everything, এইখান থেকে C to D, C to F, C to G, and you start analyzing why C to G. Oh, that is a C to G. Oh, then you are using a fifth. Then you just lose the essence. You just lose that juice from music. Maybe sometimes while explaining, you are mentioning C to G. I used a fifth. But when you are doing that each and every time, then when you are feeling the music, you are not feeling the music. You are just analyzing. You are judging. Now, with that judgmental attitude, you cannot make great art, cannot create great art. So that's one thing. That's one thing. And then your, um, so at the age of 4, he started learning violin at the violin school, Suzuki Shinichi, and began watching hundreds of movies each year with his father. So ওখানেই আর কি সিটটা বপন হয়ে গেছে, and somewhere cinema was there, because এটা হয় যে আমরা কি থেকে আমরা সিনেমার পোকা হয়ে যাই। মানে যখনই আমরা সিনেমা বানাচ্ছি তখন আমার মিউজিকের পোকা, মানে আমার ক্ষেত্রে যেটা হয়, what happened to me is mainly my focus is cinema or cinematic storytelling or writing, but আমি পুরো মিউজিকের পোকা। That's why I'm doing all these things, so that if you care for the artist, if you know about these great musical compositions, because আমি মিউজিকের পুরো পোকা। I am not a great musician, but I adore great music. I have a very good ear for music. So I have chosen cinema for myself, or writing. So I'm doing that, but কেউ কেউ আছে যারা সিনেমার পোকা, বাট দে হ্যাভ চোজেন দেয়ার ফিল্ড অ্যাজ মিউজিক। কখনো কখনো আমাদের অ্যাক্টিং করতে বলা হচ্ছে, উই আর ডুইং অ্যাক্টিং, কখনো কখনো মিউজিক করতে বলা হচ্ছে, উই আর রাইটিং সংস, উই আর প্লেইং, উই আর পারফর্মিং। So it happens automatically. We are just not analyzing all those things, but we are doing. We feel like doing it. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we just continue to do that. It's as simple as that. And সেটা মিনিমালিস্ট আর্টিস্টদের সাথে অনেক তিনি কাজ করেছেন, মিউজিক স্কুলে অবভিয়াসলি গেছিলেন। তবে জাপানিজ পপুলার মিউজিক আর ইলেকট্রনিক মিউজিক এবং নিউ এজ মিউজিকের অনেকগুলো মানে ইন্সপিরেশন আছে ওনার মিউজিকে। আর ইউলো ম্যাজিক অর্কেস্ট্রা, জাপানিজ ইলেকট্রনিক ব্যান্ড, এগুলোর খুব ভূমিকা আছে। এবং এই মিনিমালিস্ট আইডিয়াসের থেকে তিনি অনেকগুলো অ্যানিমের স্কোরও তৈরি করেছেন আর কি, ঠিক আছে। অ্যান্ড তো স্টিফেন স্পিলবার্গের সাথে যদি আমি জন উইলিয়ামসের কম্পারিজন দেখি, অ্যাজ আই ওয়াজ মেনশনিং, যে আচ্ছা তার আগে আরেকটা জিনিস দ্যাট আই ওয়ান্ট টু সে, মেনি পিপল আস্কড মি যে গিবলি হোয়াট ডাজ ইট মিন। গিবলি জেনারেলি যেটা হয়, গিবলি একটা নামের মিনিং হচ্ছে ইটস আ উইন্ড, একটা ব্লোয়িং উইন্ড, that if you look at scorpions with the whistling, the winds of change, something, it's like the wind of change. So when Miyazaki started making the animation films, it was supposed to bring a lot of change in the anime industry. So it's like a wind of change. So the studio nomenclature was done like that. Ghibli, that's like a blowing wind that is expressing some change or evoking some change in the anime industry. So that's why Ghibli. And স্পিলবার্গের সাথে জন উইলিয়ামসের যেমন একটা খুব সুন্দর কম্পোজিশন আছে। আমি যদি টিনটিনও দেখি, টিনটিনটা আজকে ওরা 3D করেছে, বাট আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ানা জোনস, and then your অন্য প্রচুর জন উইলিয়ামসের সাথে, শিনলাস লিস্টে যেমন আমি বলছি, শিনলাস লিস্টে যেমন আমি যদি দেখি, শিনলাস লিস্টে দেখলে দিস ইজ ভেরি ইমোশনাল। আবার ইন্ডিয়ানা জোনস যখন আমি দেখছি, বা জুরাসিক পার্ক যখন আমি দেখছি, দ্যাট ইজ আ ডিফারেন্ট পিস অল টুগেদার। স্টার ওয়ার্স যখন আমি দেখছি, সেটা জর্জ লুকাসের সাথে, সেটা আবার একটা অন্য ব্যাপার আছে। স্পিলবার্গের সাথে জন উইলিয়ামসের একটা খুব বড় কোলাবোরেশন মানা হয়, বিকজ জন উইলিয়ামসের মিউজিক ছাড়া স্পিলবার্গের সিনেমাটা অনেকে কল্পনাই করতে পারে না, এরকম একটা ব্যাপার। তো এই মিয়াজাকির সাথে বিশেষ করে নসিকার থেকে এটা শুরু হয়েছে। মিয়াজাকির সাথে কালকে আমি একটা পিস শোনাবো। তো মিয়াজাকির সাথে জো হিসাইশি আমাদের কোলাবোরেশনটা ওখান থেকে খুব কম্পেয়ার করা হয়। তো ওয়ান্ডার স্টেশন বলে একটা রেকর্ডিং স্টুডিও 1985-এ জো হিসাইশি নিজে বানিয়েছিলেন তার ওয়ান্ডার স্টেশন বলে, এবং সেখানে ল্যাপুটা ক্যাসেল ইন দ্য স্কাইটা ওখানে হয়েছিল। তখন একদম স্টুডিও গিবলি নতুন তৈরি হয়েছে। তারপরে পোর্কো রোসো বলে একটা মুভি আছে খুব ভালো, প্রিন্সেস মোনোনোকে আছে, অ্যান্ড আরো অনেকগুলো সিনেমা আছে। আই উইল মেনশন কিকিস ডেলিভারি সার্ভিস, একটা খুব সুন্দর মুভি। এগুলো আর কি খুব বিখ্যাত মুভি। আই হ্যাভ সিন অল অফ দেম, বাট দিজ আর দ্য থিংস পিপল নো অ্যাবাউট। তোতোরো যেমন 1988 একটা খুব সুন্দর খুব সুন্দর থিমস আছে। তো উইন্টার প্যারালিম্পিক্স এর জন্য তিনি সাউন্ড ট্র্যাক প্রোভাইড করেছেন 1998-এ, সেটা আছে। অ্যান্ড কিকুজিরো বলে যেটা মুভিটা আছে, আই ডিডন্ট শেয়ার ইট, মেবি আই উইল প্লে ইট টুমরো। তাকেশি কিতানোর সাথে কিকুজিরো যে মুভিটা, সেটার স্কোরটা ইট ইজ কনসিডার্ড টু বি আ ভেরি সিগনিফিকেন্ট স্কোর অনেকের কাছে, সেটা একটা। অ্যান্ড এই যে বিভিন্ন মুভিগুলো যেগুলো আমি বললাম, সেগুলো তো আছে। আরেকটা হচ্ছে এনএইচকে ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ ডকুমেন্টারি একটা হয়েছিল, লেজেন্ডস অফ দ্য ডিপ বলে, জায়ান্ট স্কুইড বলে। আচ্ছা, বুডোকানের আমি ওটা শেয়ার করেছি 25 ইয়ার্স এর যেটা হয়েছে, সেটা খুব সুন্দর হয়েছে। ওটা একটা খুব সুন্দর কনসার্ট শেয়ার করা, এন্ড দ্যাট ইজ আ বিউটিফুল থিং। অ্যান্ড ওয়ার্ল্ড ড্রিম সিম্ফনি অর্কেস্ট্রা এবং ড্রিম সংস বলে একটা অ্যালবাম হয়েছিল, যেখানে তিনি খুব সুন্দরভাবে এটা মানে অনেকগুলো সুন্দর স্কোর আছে। আচ্ছা, যেটা আমি বলছিলাম যে এনএইচকে এর একটা ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ ডকুমেন্টারি হয়েছে, লেজেন্ডস অফ দ্য ডিপ জায়ান্ট স্কুইড। ডেভিড অ্যাটেনবরো ওটার আর কি ন্যারেশন দিয়েছেন, যেমন বিবিসি আর্থের যেমন ডেভিড অ্যাটেনবরো বিউটিফুল ন্যারেশন দিয়েছেন। And I have been watching David Attenborough for a long time, for a long, long time. BBC Earth, I have watched entire thing. I have watched the entire thing. এবং Hans has given a great score to the BBC Earth also. I think I have shared something. সিয়া খুব সুন্দর গেয়েছে ওখানে। তো সেগুলো তো আছেই, তো সেই ফিলটা যেহেতু থাকে ইউ ক্যান রিলেট টু ইট না, বিকজ ইনহেরেন্টলি অর বাই এসেন্স অর ইনটিউটিভলি ইট ইজ ভেরি ক্লোজ। বাট 2008 এ যেটা আছে, আই উইল মেনশন এভরিওয়ান, tomorrow I will play the music, but Departures is a very important score, very important score, especially if you like Western classical, you want to see a blend of Japanese classical based on the cello, because the cello is a character in that movie. This is not just a prop. Cello is playing a very significant role in that movie, and it is like a friend, that instrument. So whenever nothing is there, the cello is doing its work, you know. So সেখানে চেলোকে ঘিরে অ্যারাউন্ড চেলো একটা কম্পোজিশন তৈরি করা, and beautifully, it's a harmonious marriage between the visual and the musical score, and that is beautiful, beautiful. Da 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 da. You know, it's something like that. I will play that. Da 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 da. তারপর একটা ট্রানজিশন হবে, ট্রানজিশন হয়ে এরকম আছে, এরকম আছে। খুব সুন্দর একটা মিউজিক্যাল স্কোর, এবং সেটা চেলোতে বাজাচ্ছে বলে আমি একটু লেগাটোর ফিলটা আনার চেষ্টা করলাম। বাট ইউ নো, মাই ভয়েস ইজ নট দ্যাট গ্রেট টুডে, বাট আই জাস্ট ওয়ান্টেড টু টেল ইউ, বিকজ I'm telling you one thing. We will do one candid music adda based on voices. We will talk about Enya. We will talk about many other people, male and female, and we will talk about their use of voices. You know, how you can express something, a song or a composition using voices. Because sometimes you don't have the instrument with you. What do? Either you hum, or you whistle, or you use your voice, just like I'm doing now. Because you understand the music and you're just using your voice to express. So there is no excuse. If you love music, if you love cinema, there is no excuse. You want to feel great, you just start humming. Maybe সি শোরের পাশে গিয়ে বা সমুদ্রের ধারে গিয়ে আমি গান গাইছি, কোনো জঙ্গলের মধ্যে গিয়ে আমি গান গাইছি, whether I have an instrument or I don't have an instrument, but I have myself with me. I have my emotions, I have my love, I have my feelings, I have my admirations for great cinema, great art. What else do I need? I have humanity with me. That's enough, I think. You don't have to make any excuse. So that's one thing. And June 28, 2013 এ একাডেমিতে আমাদের অস্কারে ওনাকে ইনভাইট করা হয়েছিল to have some contribution, এবং he was considered that who have distinguished themselves by their contribution to theatrical motion pictures. এত সুন্দর contribution আছে, that was recognized by academy. So that was one thing. And নাকানো সিটি আর্ট মিউজিয়াম বলে একটা মিউজিয়াম ছিল, যেখানে হিসাইশি 2016 এ, ভেরি রিসেন্ট, যেখানে তিনি আর্ট ডিরেক্টর নির্বাচিত হয়েছিলেন, অ্যাপয়েন্টেড হয়েছিলেন। অ্যান্ড প্যারিসে তিনি তার 3খানা কনসার্ট দিয়েছেন 2017 এ। ওটা ওই 25 ইয়ার গিবলির যে কোলাবোরেশন অ্যানিভার্সারি ওরকম আর কি আছে, কংগ্রেস দে প্যারিস সেরকম। আর 2018 মেতে 5খানা সোল্ড আউট কনসার্ট তিনি নর্থ আমেরিকানে ডেবিউ করেছেন ক্যালিফোর্নিয়াতে। হ্যাঁ, তো সেখানে আমাদের সিম্ফনি সিলিকন ভ্যালি যেটা আছে সেখানে করেছেন। আমি একটা শেয়ার করিনি, নসিকার একটা নিউ ইয়র্কের রেডিও সিটি ওরম বলে একটা কিছু কনসার্ট ছিল, আমি সেটাকে ডিটেলে শেয়ার করবো। দ্যাট ওয়াজ আ রিয়েলি গুড কনসার্ট বিকজ আই এম ভেরি পার্টিকুলার অ্যাবাউট অল দিস থিংস। নিউ ইয়র্কে খুব সুন্দর হয়েছিল কনসার্ট, আমি জানতাম না ওটা কি হয়েছে, আমি জাস্ট একজনের সাথে শেয়ার ছিলাম, সে মানে আই ওয়াজ সো মেসমারাইজড বাই দ্যাট। রেডিও সিটি মিউজিক হল যেটা আছে নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটিতে, সেখানে ওটা হয়েছিল। বাট 2020-তে ড্রিম সংসটা এসেনশিয়াল জো হিসাইশি ওটা রিলিজ হয়েছে, ডেকা গোল্ড ওরা রিলিজ করেছে, ঠিক আছে। তো এটাও একটা ব্যাপার যে এই যে জিনিসগুলো, আমি হয়তো মিউজিকটা ভালোবাসি বিকজ ওই সাবকনশিয়াস বা ইনটুইটিভ ইনফ্লুয়েন্স বা ইন্সপিরেশন অ্যাডমিরেশন তো চলেই আসে না, when you really listen to the great music। তো সেখান থেকে ডেকাও সেটা ফিল করেছে, ডেকা গোল্ড থেকে ওরা রিলিজ করেছে, which makes a lot of sense. A Decca, I made a video once where I showed that Decca rejected Beatles. Now the Beatles became the Beatles, but once Decca rejected the Beatles. So Decca Gold has also realized they should do something with Joe Hisaishi also. So Dream Songs, খুব সুন্দর একটা অ্যালবাম। I know that I will share with you the playlist. Dream Songs খুব সুন্দর। আর 2021-এ সোল স্ন্যাচার সাউন্ডট্র্যাক, সোল স্ন্যাচার বলে একটা ফিল্ম বেরিয়েছিল, সেটা সাউন্ডট্র্যাক অ্যালবাম রেড ফক্স কলার, এটাকে ডিজিটালি রিলিজ করা হয়েছিল। 34খানা কম্পোজিশন ছিল, ওই 25 সেকেন্ড থেকে 5 মিনিটের মতো লেন্থ আর কি, ছোট ছোট পিসেস, সেগুলো নিয়ে করা হয়েছিল। জাপানিজ একাডেমি অ্যাওয়ার্ডস ফর বেস্ট মিউজিক বলে একটা অ্যাওয়ার্ড হয়, ইফ ইউ ডোন্ট নো আই উইল মেনশন it again when I talk about every awards. জাপানিজ একাডেমি অ্যাওয়ার্ডস ফর বেস্ট মিউজিক বলে একটা অ্যাওয়ার্ড হয়, সেটা 92-তে, 93-তে, 94-এ, 99-এ, 2000, 2009 and 2011-এ তিনি পেয়েছেন 7খানা জাপানিজ একাডেমি অ্যাওয়ার্ডস। যদি আমি মানে সেইভাবে দেখি আর কি, তাহলে সেটা একটা। আর হচ্ছে আরেকটা হচ্ছে আমার, জাস্ট গিভ মি ওয়ান সেক, নিউ কামার অ্যাওয়ার্ড ফ্রম দ্য মিনিস্ট্রি অফ এডুকেশন যেটা বলা হয়েছে, এবং আর্ট চয়েস অ্যাওয়ার্ড ফর নিউ আর্টিস্ট তাকে দেওয়া হয়েছে পপুলার পারফর্মিং আর্টিস্ট ডিভিশন থেকে। লস অ্যাঞ্জেলেসে ফিল্ম ক্রিটিক্স অ্যাসোসিয়েশন অ্যাওয়ার্ড আমাদের মুভিং ক্যাসেলের জন্য 2005-এ দেওয়া হয়েছে, and that's a beautiful movie also, Miyazaki movie. So that's a beautiful movie. And Medal of Honor with Pearl Ribbon government of Japan থেকে তাকে দেওয়া হয়েছে, and that's also very great respect. And intentionally I'm using few terms and I'm just omitting few terms because we will talk about that why I am doing so. বাট আমি ভেবেছিলাম 1 ঘন্টার মধ্যে এটা রাখবো, স্টিল করতে করতে প্রায় 1 ঘন্টা 18 মিনিট হয়ে গেছে। উইদিন 2 minutes I will wrap it up. But I hope you got some idea because I talked about some problems এবং স্পেশালি জাপানিজ কালচারে কেন প্রবলেমটা, আমি সেটার কথা বললাম। তো দ্য উইন্ড রাইজেস বলে অ্যানাদার মুভি 2013-এ বেরিয়েছে, দ্যাট ইজ অলসো চিলড্রেন অফ দ্য সি 2019-এ বেরিয়েছে। আর হাউ ডু ইউ লিভ এটার জন্য অ্যানাউন্স হবে। সো এটা একটা জাপানিজ অ্যানিমেটেড ফিল্ম, এটা হায়াও মিয়াজাকিরই, বলছে স্টুডিও গিবলিরই। আবার এটা 1937-এর একটা নোবেল ছিল উইশিনো গেনজাবুরো, সেটার উপরে বেস করা। সো হাউ ডু ইউ লিভ এটা যদি হয়, তাহলে again we will get to see the collaboration between Miyazaki and Hisaishi. But again I will talk about Joe Hisaishi in a different light because his music speaks. He might not speak much, but his music speaks in volumes. That's really important. And আর আমি যে মাইন্ডসেটটা নিয়ে শুরুতে বললাম, to appreciate it will be a barrier. To create, obviously you cannot create because it will be a big barrier. So you have to treat it with respect, humility, a sense of abundance, a mindset of abundance. Then you can create a lot of these scores just like that. Otherwise, you will keep analyzing, you will keep judging, you will keep analyzing, you will keep commenting, but eventually you won't come up with something significant. আর কেন আমি বলছি এই যে আমি কিছু কিছু গাইছিলাম, কালকে আমি বাজাবো, কয়েকটা ভিডিও শেয়ার করব, এইগুলো একটা অ্যানাদার রিয়েলম থেকে আসে, একটা স্পিরিচুয়াল লেম, একটা একটা রিয়েলম, একটা মেটাফিজিক্যাল রিয়েলম, সামথিং এলস, ইট কামস ফ্রম সামওয়্যার এলস, a different realm altogether. And if you see him conducting, you will see how involved he or engaged he is, right? Whether he is using his baton or not. Sometimes he is using his baton, sometimes he is not using his baton. But the involvement or that engagement you can feel. When he is playing the music, when he is directing others, other musicians, when they have to play their parts. But especially I will mention and I will share with you the performance of London Symphony Orchestra, because that's a great piece, Okuribito Departures. So I will end it here today. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. We will come up with a lot of these things. So in the next session, we are going to talk about composers and their composing styles, where I will talk about many composers, or the composers I have discussed so far in the season 2, their composition styles. Maybe they are using piano as an instrument, that is piano. Piano is the instrument they are using. But intonation, modulation, phrasing, embellishment, the way of conducting, the way of composing, their personality is reflected sometimes through the performance or through the composition. And they have their individual styles. Alejandro Desplat, Rachel Portman, Tan Dun, Joe Hisaishi, and other people. They have their own styles, right? So we will talk about these people and some other people also. Then we will go to Sakamoto Hildur and Yoyoma, where we will do a transition from piano to cello. And we will show you today. We just mentioned today যে কত সুন্দরভাবে একটা ইমোশনাল ওয়েতে জো হিসাইশি চেলোটাকে ইউজ করেছে, বিশেষ করে ডিপার্চার্সে। When I talked about Philip Glass, I didn't mention enough, but Philip Glass has done really great experiments with cello also. So we will talk about that also. Then we will talk about Yoyoma and Hildur. Hildur is doing great work. She is still in the process, but she is doing great work. Very emotional, very with a lot of cinematic appeal. বিশেষ করে I was listening to the scores of Tar. It is really good. It is really good. She has come a long way. And if you listen to the Revenant theme, that it was beautiful. So that, and then we will do Michael Giacchino, and then we will talk about the Pixar animation and some other things, Mission Impossible and all these things, and then we'll go to the voice part. So we will talk about voices, how you can use your voices. Even if you don't have any instrument, you don't have to play any instrument. You just want to express what you will do. Whether you're a bathroom singer or you're a professional singer, a stage singer or concert performer, whatever it is. How can you express yourself? That is the most important thing. So first you understand, you develop the habit of listening. This is sometimes people say this is a lost art, but you become empathetic. So empathy is a very important thing. You understand the art of listening. You really love and respect the composer and the conductor. You respect the instruments. You respect each and every musician who is playing the instrument, each and every person who has been in that job, who contributed to that particular session or to that particular performance. You respect these people. That's how you cultivate a mindset, right? So that doesn't happen in one day, but if it is part of your character or personality, it comes across. The way you play, the way you behave with people, the way you talk, the way you create your compositions, the way you build your relationships, the way you love, right? Did I become just like those people, analyzing too much? Well, I won't. I will stop it here, and I will just end it with the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. The thing is, if you do subscribe, what you will get is you will get a lot of notifications. So many people tell me that why I am not telling people to do so, because it's also about ethics, and I want it a thing that should come from people. I don't want to tell people because I can do a lot of things, but if people are not getting it, then it doesn't make much sense to them. But to me, it's like heaven. I can stay with it for the rest of my life. So, what I do is, it's about building that mindset. It's about building that, talking about that philosophy, talking about that aesthetics. But you genuinely should believe in music. You should be genuinely enthusiastic about music. So many people told me that their lives have started changing after listening to this. They have got a different kind of motivation. Especially, it happened with a lot of veteran musicians who have been in the profession for a long time, who have been pioneers, who have been trendsetters, who have been great inspiration for the youth. They have been telling me that uh, this is a great work that is happening, but we have to take it to the mass. We have to do that because if they understand this, at least 10% of this, the world will be a better place, the society will be a better place, and we can create a lot of things together. What can be better than that? Thank you so much for
Press the bell icon
listening to
on
this
the
today.
YouTube app and never miss another update.